draw you in. Spark a dream that we're meant to follow. Setting out for the Okay, welcome back for part 3 of our Reclaim Our Child Inner Magic. I've got my Mickey Squishmallow today instead. I hope you enjoy the happily ever after music. That's actually the music that plays in Disney during the fireworks at the end of the night, like one of my favorite things in the world. And they've changed the show a few times, over the course of the years, but it's always something that is super powerful, and I hope you enjoyed that. But it is setting the stage for part 3, and this is our happily ever now. So we are building a new legacy. So if you missed the previous 2 parts, no worries, they're there for you. And we are currently, we're concentrating on the rewriting of our legacy at this point. So in just a little recap, in the first part, we reconnected with our inner child. In the second part, we broke those old spells and released some toxic and negative patterns that were no longer serving us and replaced it with some more positive and just amazing and fulfilling things. I want to just kind of take this all the way home because we're now building a new legacy. And that's really what the transformation and what all the inner work is all about, is getting to this next level and being the best and most authentic version of ourselves. So if you allow me to nerd out for just a little bit, because I am a psych nerd and I won't go too much into details, but if you think of our needs in a little triangle shape, I'm borrowing this from Maslow, it's not mine, and he's like a famous psychological researcher. But at the bottom of our little pyramid are our base needs. Our need to be warm, fed, safe, the minimum that we need, right? And in doing a lot of the inner child healing that we did, we realized that maybe some of those things might have been met, but maybe not met in the most healthy of ways. We may have felt loved by compromising who we were. We might have felt safe by engaging in some patterns that no longer served us, right? So because we had those maladaptive behaviors initially, we weren't able to move up to that pyramid. At the very top, Maslow had self-actualization, and that's where we become our most authentic, our happiest version of us. And again, that's whatever that means for you. It doesn't mean you need to have these grand plans of doing these amazing things. There are plenty of people who have all the money in the world and are miserable as shit, right? And then there are people who are as poor as dirt and are happy as hell. And it was funny, I was listening to a podcast the other day, and this was this really successful guy, and he realized that he needed to make a shift because he was literally coming home pissed off because the contractors who were working on his mansion, I don't know, there was something wrong with the plans, right? So he was coming home ready to like ream them out a new one. Mind you, he's coming home because they're doing work on his dream home, which is this huge mansion. And he gets there, and the workers, they're on a break, and these are people who come from another country and pretty much take all the money that they earn here and they send it back home. And he noticed that he's over here having this shitty day, and the workers are laughing and joking like it was like the best day ever because they felt fortunate enough to have a job where they were providing for their family. And here he is being this entitled asshole who's getting ready to like mess that up. And that was his epiphany. So all that to say that your story does not need to be, again, this epic adventure. If you want it to be, hey, have at it. Like, I have things that I still want to accomplish. But at the end of the day, those needs being met in a way and becoming whatever version of you that you need to is what really, really matters. So this isn't just about healing, right? We want to thrive, whatever that looks like for you, like I just said. So we need to create a sustainable plan so that you continue on this journey, right? And to keep it working for you. So, we did the love letter to our child. I gave you 3 exercises where we broke the spell and we got rid of old patterns and placed new patterns in, right? So that was, our 2 steps. So now here we are. We are in the rewriting our legacy phase of this. So this is what life could look like for you on the other side of doing this healing. And in rebuilding, you're doing a lot of reconnecting with yourself, with those around you, and what you really want to do. And I can give you what my story looked like on the other side of healing. And I'm still writing that story, but I can tell you what it looked like for me. When I finally let go of the toxic relationship that I was in with my father, a lot of things happened for me. And again, full disclaimer, I'm not saying that tomorrow you're going to wake up and all these things will come true, but this is what I found, in the years since. I had always struggled with my weight my entire life. I have lost 80 pounds, and for the past 2 years, I've kept it off. I was literally carrying physical weight that I could not shake, which I now realize I felt like I was unworthy to lose that weight and to take care of myself properly. And I've been able to do that now. Becoming a coach. Again, it was not on my bucket list to be a coach at all. I did not want to be in business for myself. I thought a traditional 9 to 5 or being a mom or wife or whatever, that was fine. Never would have occurred to me. So this was something that 5 years ago, if you would have told me, I would have laughed at you. In the meantime, I've also run for public office and I won a seat. I spent 3 years on my local school board as a school board member, and I'm still pretty actively involved doing that. I've held positions on 3 different boards. I now speak in public pretty regularly. I've been on podcasts and all these things. And these are things that, again, I thought weren't me. And now I realize they were not the version of me who was still damaged. So all those things that you think that you could never do, maybe it's because you just haven't given yourself the space and the healing to move past that. Um, so creating this legacy of freedom, it is not just a dream. It's a choice, and you are capable of making this choice. It is going to take some work and dedication on your part, though. And it's not going to happen just by, again, listening to all the amazing presentations here. But this is definitely a start, and we've got to take everything that we've learned up until now and actually apply it. So, if you're ready for your happily ever now, let's talk about how to create it. And honestly, the biggest thing that I could tell you now that might be effective for you is you need to have a snapshot in your head of future you. I always have a snapshot in my head of where I want to be a year from now, 5 years from now, and it changes based on the day or what goal I'm thinking about. But you need to create a very vivid mental snapshot of your ideal life, and we don't need pen and paper or anything like that. This is something we're doing with the power of our head. So, or the wonderful brain that we've been given. Excuse me. So, I want you to close your eyes, take a deep breath, and I want you to imagine it's 1 year from today. You've done the work, you've set the boundaries, you've broken the patterns, and you've reconnected with your inner child. Your life is full of light, freedom, and you are more aligned with yourself than ever before. I want you, again, keeping your eyes closed, look around you. Look at this future life. Where are you? Who is with you? What does your day look like? How do you feel when you wake up in the morning? These are all really, really important. You want to add as much detail as you possibly can. Now, this is a moment where I want you to take a snapshot, mental snapshot. So I want you to imagine taking a mental photograph of this moment. See it very clearly in your mind, like the old Polaroids that are slowly coming into focus. What colors do you see? What expressions are on your face and those around you? What are the details that stand out? Again, using all the sensations. What do you feel? What do you smell, taste, touch, hear? What is around you at this time? And then I want you to think about if this person that you're envisioning, your future you, could say something to you right now, what would it be? Now, we have all those tools. Now you need to capture it into words. Grab your journal, piece of paper, write down 3 things that stand out in this future snapshot. This could be feelings, it could be images, or even a specific action that you've taken. Like you're surrounded by love, you feel peaceful in your own skin, you've created a home filled with safety and joy, your kids all behave and get along. That's what my year from now self really, really wants. My children all behaving and getting along. Now, like we did in the previous exercise where we anchored our new truths, we want to anchor this vision. So I want you to write 1 sentence starting with, I am ready to, that connects your present self with this future self. What's one thing that you are ready to do to get from today to 1 year from now? So an example is, I am ready to create this life by setting healthy boundaries, or I am ready to create this life by getting the help and support that I need to get to this point. Or it could be something as simple as, I am ready to step into my worth every single day, taking it day by day, because this will change. And if you feel so called to do so, please share what your future snapshot looks like in the chat, because I think I feel that there is so much power in naming our dreams and our hopes. The same way there's power in calling out those cycles and patterns, because what's done in the dark comes to the light, and when you share it and you make it known, it loses power over you. And I think in sharing these snapshots and these I am ready statements, that's also calling into existence what you want the universe, God, whoever you believe in, to bring that to you. And this is something that you can do on a regular basis, because you don't need, I know people are very big on vision boards and that sort of thing. And that's cool too if you have the time to do it. I will say every year, I say I'm going to create a vision board, and I never do it because I just I don't make the time to gather all the supplies and do all the things. What I can do is take on this mental snapshot and really write out my thoughts and my hopes for the next year. So this is super personal and it's super impactful, because this allows you to create that vivid vision without all the overwhelm. Something that you could do sitting down in the car when you're not driving, and take that mental snapshot and keep it handy with you. And I think in crafting those I am ready statements, it gives you the foundation to start doing the work that gets you to that next level. So I hope at this point you have a clear mental image of what it is that you want. You have your I am ready statement, which you can call it your mantra, you can call it your affirmation, whatever it is, but you have that to help you guide you. And I hope that you have a sense of possibility and motivation, that you've been able to see a glimpse of what's possible. I know for me, like I said, my future self a year from now wants a home where, again, my children clean their room and they get along, and my home is harmonious. And I have to sit there and say, I am ready to enact boundaries that make sure that everyone has their assigned chores and the things that they need to do in order to keep our home running in this way. So before we close this out, I want to make sure you take a picture of that sentence that you wrote down, or write it somewhere that you will see it every day. Now, you notice I'm big on, you need to see these goals in order to keep them front of mind. And I think you also need to repeat this out loud in your own voice to kind of train your brain to believe yourself. Because I think it's so easy to listen to and believe all the negative, which we know so very, very well, and fill it with what truly belongs to us. So if all this felt powerful, it felt real, just imagine what it would be like if this were your reality. And in order to build this life, it does take time, it takes support, and it might even take someone to guide you. And I want to say, if you're watching this and it feels like this is something that you're not capable of, please seek out and reach that support, whether it's with me or with any of the other presenters that you've seen here today. Whether it's a therapist, maybe it's an accountability partner, somebody close to you, a support person. Take the time to build that support system and get the help you need, because this is hard work, and we may have unearthed some pretty heavy stuff, and it might have you thinking. And this is not something that you want to do alone. I could say from personal experience, I have done this alone, and it took way longer than it should have, and I made hella mistakes doing it. And I'm very fortunate that I'm at where I'm at today with the stumbling blocks that I've encountered. But it's given me a lot of experience on what not to do and what you should do. So with that being said, I just kind of want to go over, my method that I realized that I was doing, that I didn't even realize I was doing, to get through all the difficult phases of my life. And, it was the realization. You're identifying why you need to break these cycles and recognizing your triggers. It's the redesign, right? We're setting the boundaries. We are designing a new life. You are cutting out what no longer serves you and bringing in what you need to. You're going to reclaim where you're rebuilding your self-worth, you're reparenting yourself, connecting with that inner child, right? And you're discovering who you are outside of what happened to you. Then you want to reconnect. You are going to heal and strengthen your relationships with your children, your partners, your chosen family, your work-life balance, whatever that looks like for you. And then you're going to rebuild, which is kind of what we started to do here, where you're creating that lasting freedom instead of the legacy of dysfunction. So I hope that this has been helpful to you. Let me know in the comments if you're watching it live. I'm here with you. If you're not, I'll get back to you. And there's always ways to get in contact with me and all the other amazing speakers today. And I want to thank you for being here and doing this work, which is so amazing and it's so important. And thank you for bearing with me. I'm recovering from the flu and my voice has not been the best, but I wanted to show up because my goal is to do whatever it takes to help as many people as possible not feel as alone as I did in breaking these generational cycles, and to not feel the shame, the guilt, and the anger that I did. Well, you may feel it, but you don't need to feel it alone. So with that being said, I hope you've enjoyed this. Catch any parts that you've missed, watch anything that you need to, rewatch it. Feel free to reach out in the comments, reach out in the Facebook group, reach out to me personally, because I want to hear what your takeaways were and what you thought of it. And I hope that you enjoy my free gift that comes if you've registered. If you haven't, there's still time, please do so. And on that, I will say goodbye and enjoy your happily ever now. Take care.